Good morning. Good morning. Am I on? Okay. Welcome to worship here at Seaview, which stands for Coastal Virginia Unitarian Universalists. My name is Carrie Kilburn, and I'm Vice President of the board. For those of you who are newcomers today, whether it is here in person or in Zoom, Seaview is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, a denomination that is part of a liberal religious tradition that goes back hundreds of years. Seaview offers an open door to all who recognize and honor our principles and the values from which they are derived: interdependence, equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, justice, and love, which is at the center of our values. These are values which call us to action and which make us accountable to one another. Here at Seaview, our commitment to the work we are called to do through these values is demonstrated in our mission, which is to provide a nurturing community, foster courageous spiritual growth, and inspire compassionate action. It is with that love and commitment that we welcome all of you, member, friend, visitor, to worship at Seaview and be part of this journey with us. We also welcome those of all ages. If there are teens and youth who would like to sit together in the sanctuary during the service, there is a reserved seating area at the rear of the sanctuary to my right. For those who are younger, we have the growing ground at the front of the sanctuary to my left, where small children and their parents can entertain themselves quietly. For those of us who are a bit more wiggly, and for whom quiet is truly difficult, you and your parents are invited to attend the service in the foyer, where it will be streamed and where there are coloring pages, paper, markers, and colored pencils. Our worship theme this month is Practicing Resistance, and the title of today's service is Resistance When Unspoken, Unwavering Defiance is Required, and it will be led by Princess Perry and Lee Ellen Knight, our Worship Services Associate. Also assisting the worship today are Crystal Lennon, our music director, our choir, Reverend Mark Wise, our Minister of Lifespan Faith and Development, and of course we couldn't do this without our amazing tech team, Bruce Wayner, Pat Push, Audrey Noth, and Dal Paul. Thanks also to our ushers today, Carmel and Ken Saucer. Next week, the service title is Love is the Water That Breaks Down the Rock, and it will be led by Martha Shore. Once again, thank you for being with us this morning, and we hope you'll join us in the social hall for coffee hour after the service.
Good morning. Our opening words today are "This Faith" by Heidi Cottam. This faith. Let us be a faith that gathers, reaching for one another through the walls of hate others build, through the cages of ignorance and arrogance, and through the fear that burns city streets. Let us be a faith that sees a vision of a better world, more compassion, more just, more holy, and with more love. There is a faith that binds up the broken, cauterizes battle wounds with the balm of peace, sings louder and longer than the trumpets of war. Let us be that faith too. Let us be the ones who do not tread lightly in this world, but light it up with our love, who hold up the mirror of worth and dignity, who are the sanctuary others seek. But first, let us be a faith that worships together, here, this morning, in this space, at this moment. Let us be a faith. Unitarian Universalists worldwide begin their service by lighting a chalice. Today, our chalice will be lit by Jackson, who is 13 in 8th grade and has hobbies of swimming, watching movies, and talking with friends. Please join me in the words of chalice lighting behind me. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. And now, please rise and body your spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 168, Step by Step. Our caring ministry is how we maintain a culture of the heart at this church, and it consists of our pastoral associates, and if any are here this morning, would you raise your hands? Yes, wonderful. Who are available if you need someone to talk to, and our caring team members who can provide short-term assistance to those in need. The screen behind me provides information on how to contact people in either of these groups. Our book of life, which is kept at the back of the sanctuary on my right, is meant for you to record personal milestones you would like to share with the congregation. And if you would like to physically mark what you are holding in your heart today, you may do so by placing a stone or a shell in the bowl, which is near the back, near the Book of Life, downstairs here, and also there's one upstairs. For those of you in Zoom, if you have a personal joy or sorrow you would like to share with the Seaview community, please type it into the chat box. Those joys and sorrows that are of a personal nature will be read into the sanctuary and then entered into the Book of Life. And now we will hear from a member of our caring team.
My name is Nancy Schaefer, and these are the entries in the Book of Life thus far today. Thank you to everyone that attended and sent well wishes from Seaview for my retirement on Friday. It made a special moment for me to see so many of my Seaview family there. With love, Commander Andrew Martin, U.S. Navy, retired. Thank you all for being so welcoming. I wish I had found this community sooner. I am now moving to California, but I will miss you all. It's from RB. Our choir director, Crystal, should be recognized for being the best, kindest soul. Your There's more. Your choir appreciates your dedication and thanks you for enduring our silliness.
As part of our stones and shells ritual, let us remember to honor our military by appreciating the sacrifice they are willing to make for us. But also may we honor them by doing what we can so that they never have to make it. And so I am lighting this candle this morning as a prayer for peace here at home and throughout the world. May each of us draw upon whatever gives us strength and hope, whether it is the God of many names or no name at all, the great force that courses throughout and is the universe, the divine spark within each of us, or this community that we love and value. As we hold in our hearts all that has been spoken into this space this morning, in person and online, and all that has not, but may we in particular find solace in the fact that we are here to journey with one another, to share in the sorrows and rejoice in the joys. And now let us enter into a moment of silence to mark this sacred space that we share. We will now close our silence and honor the different faith journeys we represent here in song.
This reading is inspired by the resistance of a dandelion seed. There is a crack in the world where light finds its way through. Not wide, not welcoming, just enough. The seed arrives on the wind, lands in darkness between stone, and begins its work in secret. Roots press downward through grit and shadow, seeking moisture in places meant to be barren. They do not ask permission. They do not apologize for their hunger or their being. Slowly, the green crown pushes upward, meeting resistance every fraction of an inch. The concrete does not yield willingly. It groans, it cracks, infinitesimally, but the stem continues. What emerges is not delicate in the way we imagine delicacy. It is yellow and honest, opening its face to the sun despite the hardness all around. Cars pass, feet land nearby, the flower remains, making its small declaration that life persists even where it is told it cannot, that softness breaks what hardness cannot bend, that beauty grows not in spite of the cold and unrelenting pavement, but directly through it, transforming a barely visible crack into a doorway. When the blossom fades, it does not disappear. It transforms into a constellation of possibilities. Each seed carries the memory of stone splitting, the knowledge that what seems permanent can be challenged and broken. The wind rustles, the next crack waits, the work continues in 1,000 directions at once, patient and relentless.
Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment of silence for all those who have either been killed or hurt by ICE, the families that have been affected by ICE, and the ordeal that they have to go through. So we're going to talk about love and resistance today. And when I do these talks, I never know where I'm going until really the old saying is, till the Spirit moves me. So this morning, something popped into my head that I felt like would be the great start. And I know that you know this poem, but I'm only going to read the first part. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood, and I looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the other undergrowth, then took the other just as fair. Robert Frost. So what road are we going to take? Are we going to take the road of resistance and say that we are going to build a community, a world that we know is a possibility? Or are we going to take the other road of pessimism, destruction, and where we're sort of headed at this moment nationally and globally? As a community, I know which road we're going to take. So, tomorrow, we know, is what was MLK Day, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who fought for equality, rights of all, love. He saw that on the mountaintop. Tomorrow, also, we start the 30 Days of Love in the UUA world. We always started on MLK Day, and it goes through Valentine's Day. It's a time of fear, violence, and extraction that dominates our politics and our planet. We're going to practice and live in a different way. We believe love is not fragile. It is fierce. It grounds our organizing. It fuels our imagination. It sustains our communities. And over the next 5 weeks, we're going to nourish ourselves. Each week, there is guidance and journaling and quotations that are going to be put out that I would like for all of us to try to do one form of another. It is both a way to nourish ourselves, but it is another when a community comes together and sends that force out into the world. We may feel that we are not doing anything, and we may feel infinitesimal in our endeavors. But, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would say, we are a mighty people, one way or another. So with resistance, let us love. Amen.
Generosity is one of our Unitarian Universalist values, and now comes the time when we ask you to live out that value. The ministry of this church not only consists of what we do within these walls, both real and virtual, but what we do that extends beyond these walls as well. And so each month we share 50% of the money collected during the Sunday offering that is not designated as a pledge payment with an organization in the community. The organization we are sharing with this month is Sandwich Makers. Sandwich Makers is a program that has been in existence at Seaview for 30 years. 3 Mondays a month, volunteers gather to make sandwiches and boil eggs for a breakfast line managed by Norfolk Catholic workers. This is a vital ministry funded by your generosity. Please help keep this essential program alive. Supporting programs such as this is just one way for us to live our principles that honor the inherent worth and dignity of all people, and justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Giving our time, talent, and treasure to the organizations that matter to us is a spiritual practice for those who call ourselves Unitarian Universalists, and it is one we should not shy away from. More importantly, it is essential to our survival. Baskets will be coming around if you wish to make your gift in cash or check. There are additional directions for giving on the screen behind me. And as you set your intention for giving, we will listen to another musical selection. Your donations will be gratefully received. Oh, much for your generosity. It's my great pleasure to introduce someone that many of you know, as she's a member of our congregation and has been attending for a long time. Princess Joy L. Perry is the author of the novel This Here Is Love. Her short stories have appeared in Sing the Truth, the Kweli Journal short story collection, African American Review, Harrington Gay Men's Literary Quarterly, and All About Skin, short fiction by women of color. She is a past finalist for the Tobias Wolff Award in Fiction, a recipient of the Virginia Commission for the Arts Fellowship, and a winner of the Zora Neale Hurston Richard Wright Award. Welcome to Princess.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I just had one of those birthdays where things change, so I've got like 2-3 pairs of glasses on me, trying to figure out which one is best, but I think these will work. Okay. So you may or may not know, but my novel, This Here Is Love, is set in the 17th century. And what's interesting about that time for me is that in the early to mid 1600s, there was a time when indentured servants and enslaved and free African Americans all lived together in similar communities, sometimes in the same households. And this was before the laws hardened and American slavery as we know it came about. So just a little background. I'm going to read you 3 short sections from the book. And they are mostly focused on the characters. Bless, who is an enslaved woman, her mother, Cassie, who is a first-generation enslaved woman. Her African name or her native name is Odofole. And there is Jeremiah, who is a young man who is enslaved, but he does not plan to stay that way. And since the theme that we are talking about today here is resistance, I wanted to read about some of the different ways that I feel enslaved people resisted. And the first one is running away, the bolder choice to find a place where you can be yourself. Jeremiah had heard the whispered stories the whole of his young life. He had been born in Isle of Wight, a shire situated at the confluence of the Nasmond, James, and Elizabeth rivers. Messages and runaways traveled the waterways. Jeremiah's grandmother had an account straight from the mouth of a Cimarron, a fugitive, a defiant one. A woman who had emancipated herself but come back to steal away the child she had left behind. There was a place, a refuge, where they could live, not in ease, but in peace. There they fended for themselves. They governed themselves. Some nights that meant bedding down in a cocoon of mosquitoes. It meant living among panthers and arm-thick rattlesnakes, and it was still better than the world out here. There, among the heat and elements and creatures driven by a satiable hunger, the runaways had a fair and fighting chance. According to Jeremiah's grandmother, Africans had been running away to the Pakwesen, as the Indians called the swamp, almost since the day they arrived. The swamp was their only hope of freedom and refuge. The swamp did not, as the masters told it, swallow Africans and Indians and indentures. It shielded them. The swamp would not even give up their bones. The next section is a kind of quiet resistance, finding your strength to resist in love, in sustaining love. So this is Jeremiah, Bless, and Cassie. One unspoiled evening, a week's worth of bliss, a month of gladness. How much happiness was enough to live on? Every day, the people of the slave quarters squirreled away and toted up the smallest bits of joy. They stockpiled it for absent hours, for downriver journeys, for footsore, shackled treks from which no one returned home. They performed Herculean tasks of memorization, birthmarks and gestures, expressions and recipes and songs. They breathed deeply at the sour neck of a beloved, hoping to store the scent. They collected scraps of cloth and tufts of baby hair and tiny teeth. On a Saturday evening, Cassie sat at her table with Jeremiah and Bless. Sunday, the day of liberty, still ahead. Simple food, company of their own choosing, time to enjoy both. Pleasures so seldom felt they had become the stuff of longing. Thin, white fish bones and cornbread crumbs littered their plates. The dank cabin air honeyed from the smell of sweet potatoes baked in hot coals. They lingered, picking their teeth, not saying much, just savoring, storing up against the coming seasons of need. And this last section is resistance, the resistance of being your genuine, unmasked, true self. I should tell you that there are some rivers here named from West Africa, and those are Sassandra, Anum, and Pinjare. And then again, that name Odofole comes up. The grown folks remembered their true homes, the taste of the rivers and the taste of the clay, the bluer sky and the closer moon. There, they would have danced in animal skins, in shirts of woven grass, in nothing but cowrie shells at the neck, wrists, and ankles. In the colony of Virginia, they made do. On top of Negro cloth, they wore oyster and clam shells, the bones of rabbits and raccoons. They strung those bits and pieces on twine, on loops of dried grapevine, and tied them to ankle and knee, neck, and hair. They turned all manner of clanging, whistling, noise-making rubbish into treasure. The people pooled their harvest rations with things nicked and pocketed while setting up a separate celebration for the white folks. There was some meat, goose, and ham, a bit of liquor, nuts and yams, but more necessary than food was music. Two men squatted on birthing stools, their knees spread wide to accommodate the drums, while the others gathered. Sincere, a slave who often played at the white folks' fancy occasions, stepped from his cabin bearing his new fiddle like a scepter, though it was made of hollowed gourd and deer hide with one string and a horsehair bow. To his wild plucking, there would be added a chorus of women, ululating to urge him on, and to that, the drums. The palm beats would gallop from head to heart, until everyone had been cajoled into joy. Some wore masks, others danced barefaced. Sweat, clean as the waters of the Sassandra, the Anum, the Pinjari, washed away the false faces they wore all the daylight hours of the year. They kicked off hard, bulky shoes. They stood as if their backs never had been made crooked by the endless swinging of a hoe, never bowed by bundles and barrels of tobacco hefted upon their heads. They transformed. They hopped and jumped and abandoned the daily effort to remain unseen. They erupted. And arched back, a whirling one-leg turn, every body once again decided the bearing and intensity with which it needed to move. When Cassie handed Bless her cup of dandelion wine to hold and spun into the clearing of firelight and drumbeat and there shut her eyes, Bless took one step forward, but in amazement she faltered. Odofole, Odofole, the other grown folks whooped. They clapped as Cassie dipped her torso and rippled her back. Her hip shakes were celebration, prayer, and summons. She wanted and took more than joy from the dance. Odofole danced the things that only they, fellow marooned souls, could decipher and echo and answer with their throats and thighs and feet. The captive-born children, like Bless, like Jeremiah, like Esther, and all the others, could mimic the steps, but could never follow them, not really, not back to the feeling where they began. And when the grown folks all died, as surely they must, this drum to body talk and everything it told or aimed to tell would die too. For the grown folks carried what their bondage-born children did not, a living memory of an unalterable self. Whatever they pretended to be, field hand, cook, washwoman, they were always sensible of a true self, a self born to harvest millet and gather the cola nut and trade palm oil in a bazaar, a self born to shape hot iron not just into the rings of a drum, but into weapons, a basket-making self, a cloth-weaving self, a self that shepherded the cows of a grandfather who lay buried in the village grove, a self who lived close to the surface, a self wrestled down at every rising, a self that beat the drum and blazed footprints across the stubbled ground, a Ghanaian or Nigerian or Bantu self who gyrated until she obliterated 358 days of unholy masquerade. Bless could not tell whether the drumbeat had hold of her mother or if her mother had hold of the drummer. Both were beyond her reach. Even if she stretched on tiptoes, they were up above her, somehow beating free and leaning into the currents of a differently destined life. With just a glimpse of who her mother might have been, the magnitude of that theft staggered Bless. She would have fallen if Jeremiah had not placed his hand on the small of her back. Too much wine, he asked, cutting his eyes at the cup. No, no, Bless said. She pushed the cup at him. Fill it up. Thank you.
Now, please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our closing hymn, There Is More Love Somewhere.
There is more love.
There are countless ways to resist oppression. Some are fierce, some are quiet, sometimes persistence, simple, unwavering insistence on your right to be just as you are and in peace is the most radical form of resistance of all.
Let us speak these words together, which are an adaptation taken from the poem Beyond Our Wildest Dreams by Roseanne S. But before we do, please take a moment to look at the person on either side of you, the person in front of you, and the person behind you. And imagine that you are speaking these words to them. I put my faith in you, and together we can do what we could never do alone. And as our worship comes to an end, please join me in saying the words for extinguishing the chalice, which will be shown on the screen behind me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.